Welcome to Realty Check, where real life meets real estate. I'm Amanda Freeman, a Sacramento-based realtor, mom of two, and accidental multitasker who's probably sending a voice memo while packing school lunches.
And hey, I'm Leni Lopez. I'm your resident loan officer. I'm also, as Reba McIntyre says, a single mom who works too hard, who loves her kids, and never stops. I also have 2 kittens, a dog, and they absolutely run my home.
We come from different sides of the real estate world, agent and lender, but we're both here trying to build businesses, raise good humans, and keep it together mostly.
Every week, we're pulling back the curtain on what is really like to grow a career in real estate while managing real life. The highs, the chaos, the stuff no one wants to post about.
Today, we're going to kick things off with our little meet cute. How I met my real estate bestie. Oh, man. How 2 women with totally different paths found each other in this wild industry and ended up becoming business besties and now co-hosts.
We'll share what life looked like before real estate, where we made the leap, and finally clicked us into this crazy career.
So grab your coffee, your tea, your cold brew if you're on the go, and let's do a quick realty check.
On a scale from crying to thriving, Amanda, where are you at today?
Oh, God. I feel like I have to ask you that question, though, because you were on crossing guard duty today at school, and while it's raining, and it's been raining like all morning, I think the worst of it was at that 20-minute, 30-minute window of drop-off.
Yes, you were absolutely correct. It was. I knew it was raining. I usually do crossing guard only on Thursday mornings. Why do I do it? Because I'm crazy. I do it because I hope that the school knows that I care, and then they'll maybe take good care of my son. I know that's crazy. Of course they're taking good care of my son, right? But I don't know, maybe I can bribe them with my volunteerism. I'll do it. So anywho, I'm out there. It's pouring rain. I'm wearing leggings, pants, long sleeve jacket, hoodie. I got it all on. I was still sopping wet. I could feel it in my toes, under my rain boots. I could feel it all over my body. And then on top of it, I'm out there feeling cold, just dreading, waiting for the 30 minutes to be up. And then all of a sudden I see my son's pink little jacket walking towards me with the admin.
Oh.
And I was like, great. So I meet them, and admin says, they were crying. I'm like, what happened? And he says, I was scared. Why are you scared? You've done this a million times. You've never been scared a day in your life. Okay. I'm like, well, let's walk back. Walk him back. I go to walk all the way back out there and do this whole rigmarole. And then finally I'm done. I'm like, okay, I can get in my car. I can change. I can get into warm clothes, wait for Amanda to get to my house. And I get in my car and I realize I left my sunroof open. No! My car is wet. Leni!
No!
But I was like,
oh no.
You know what? I left my towel from swim class the night before in the car. I'll just wipe up the car. It's fine.
Wait, how did you not realize that on your drive to school?
I don't know.
Like, is it just cracked?
It was cracked. No, it wasn't all the way. It was just like cracked, but still.
Still. Because it was like raining sideways.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think I'm thriving through the crying because I think this is really funny. And I think that I was wondering what I was going to say during this crying or thriving segment. And I was like, I don't know. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. But no, of course, the world had to say, no, I'll give you something new right now. Right now.
We live close to the school, so we usually walk to the school. But when weather is like this, I will drive the 2 or 3 blocks to get it. We live in the same area, like the same street where you do the crossing guard at. Yeah. So I pulled my car into the garage, loaded everything up, pulled out of the garage, rolled down the street, and then we parked. I don't know if you saw us from your
did.
We parked on the street, and we had a very intense conversation about, are we getting out here? Are we walking to your school? Do you want me to do a car drop-off line today? Will you be able to handle it? Like, if you take an umbrella, it's going to have to be Sissy's umbrella that's yellow with the flowers on it because the blue umbrella is too big for one person. So we had quite the discussion. He ended up deciding to do Carline. This boy, he's kinder now, and every week he kind of like surprises me with how he'll like be more and more independent.
Yeah.
And it's really cute. And really sweet. So yeah, and he decided no umbrella. So I said, okay, do you want umbrella? He said, no. And he took his little rain jacket and he put his hood on and marched into the campus.
Look at that. Big kid walking.
I know. So.
No, but I definitely clocked you and I was like, that's Amanda. And I waved and I was like, she's not getting out. All right, I'm just going to ignore that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it was a discussion. Because the other thing is, I have Maya, and so was I going to get her all the way out of the car?
I was wondering that.
I've left her in the car out front of the school before and like walked him at least partial way.
Yeah.
Especially if she's sleeping or whatever. I mean, there are adults everywhere and everyone knows it. We've got small town feel around
We
here.
do have a very small town feel.
Like you were right there. You would have had eyes on our car.
Oh, I would have.
So I was thinking, do I leave her in the car? Do I unload everyone and walk out? So it worked out. Caroline was thriving today. I will take that.
I think Carlin was the best move, honestly, because I was thinking about it. And we're moms. We know that when kids are uncomfortable, they become little jerks, little monsters.
Yes.
And so in my head, I was picturing if you and Mai got out of the car, sopped wet, got back in the car, then had to drive somewhere else and then drive back to my house, it was going to just make everything uncomfy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to record.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you made the right decision.
Thank
So kudos to you.
Thank you. High five. We are thriving, crying through the thriving. What did you say?
Thriving through the crying.
Thriving through the crying. Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Yes. Well, I don't have much crying today, but you do.
But we're just so happy to have you all here. This is kind of what we do. Amanda and I both have kiddos that go to the same school, and we just really talk trash and spill the tea on what's happening in our personal lives and our professional lives during like pickup and drop off. And we decided that this is something that needs to be kind of shared with others to make them feel seen and understand that they're not going through this alone. And I hope that listening to our tangents and listening to our hilarity makes you feel a little bit more normal.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's like a lot of times it's easy to feel like you're not doing it right or you're not doing it enough.
Yeah.
I feel the most grounded after I get to just bitch to you for a little bit.
Absolutely.
So, and I feel like I've got it together.
We're parents.
A lot of this happens, and I feel like I'm still good at my job.
She's very good at her job. She's going to be humble, but I won't be humble for her. She's very good at her job. And personally speaking, I appreciate the realness that I get with her. And again, I enjoy what we do. And maybe it's a little narcissistic of me to say that I think people want to hear this conversation, but it's true. So during this first episode, we really kind of wanted to touch on our meet cute, how both of us got in the industry, how we found one another, and how we're trying to have solace through all of this. So that's kind of that with it. Me trying to riff is pretty interesting.
All right. So today, our meet cute, we're going to talk about life before real estate, why we chose real estate, how we met, and why the heck we're doing this podcast, which I feel like we've already kind of hinted at.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, Amanda, what were you doing before this?
I have felt over the years like that person who never could figure out what they wanted to be when they grew up.
So you never knew what you wanted to be.
I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I actually have this vivid memory of being like maybe 8 and swinging on the swing at church and telling one of my friends, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a veterinarian when I grow up. And they gave me this look and they said, yeah, okay, Amanda, until next week. And then you're going to want to be something different. Like that was literally the conversation that we had. And I was so butthurt because in my soul, I was like, no, I am going to be a veterinarian when I grow up. And then the next week, again, vivid memory of me actually sitting there going like, oh, actually now I want to be the president of the United States. So I guess she was right when she said, okay, and rolled her eyes at me. So that's kind of like it's always been hard for me to feel like I knew where I belong and had like a path. And so what that meant was I went to school for psychology. Actually, I don't know if I ever told you this. I changed my major 4 times, even though I was only in school for 3 years.
I love this.
So like I think I started with psychology. Then I moved to international relations. Then I moved to business, and I went back to psychology.
I see the thought process, though. I do. I really do.
Okay. Well, that was like, so I got my bachelor's in psychology. I got my master's in counseling psychology because you can't do anything with a bachelor's in psychology.
Hilarious.
So then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get my master's in counseling psychology. I kind of thought that would be like a more overarching master's degree. It was not. It was marriage and family therapy. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm going to be a marriage and family therapist, even though that wasn't really what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Then I moved to Sacramento because I followed Michael here, my husband.
Your college sweetheart.
My college sweetheart. And I could not get a job for the life of me in counseling. I could not. And so I ended up in the field.
And it's not like we're in like a shortage on mental health workers in the United States. So
yeah, but this was also like 15 years ago. I don't know how
mental health wasn't real back then. Don't worry, everyone. I see a therapist once a week, so I can say these things because I'm joking.
Anyway, so then I mean, I'm not to make this like to make a long story long, but while I was job hunting, I actually decided to apply for to be a waitress because I had experience in the service industry. I worked at the brewery in Chico for many, many years, and so I was like, well, if nothing else, I can get a job here in the service industry. No, they wouldn't hire me because I made the mistake of giving them my real resume that like said that I had my master's degree and all that.
They thought you were a flight risk.
Yes, they said that. Yep. So, if you're going to try to, I don't want to say get a job beneath you because it's not beneath, but like the
of a different projection of what your resume would say.
Yes, thank you. Then just leave stuff off of your resume. You don't have to put everything on your resume.
No, you don't. And I struggled with that for a long time, but I realized, no, you can actually tailor your resume to be for the position.
Yes.
I know.
So, note to self.
If you're 16 to 21 building your resume, just know you really can do that.
Yes.
You absolutely can.
Yes. Because we're going to have so many 16-year-olds listening to this.
What else are you going to be doing at your lunch when you're a sophomore in high school? You're going to listen to 2 moms bitch about real estate.
Oh my God. So then I got, so the job that I did find was in behavior analysis. It was applied behavior analysis, and it was an entry-level job. And it was kind of like, you need a high school diploma and that was it. But in order to be a supervisor in this field, you needed a master's and you needed to be a board certified behavior analyst. So you had to take another fancy test. And I just remember thinking, if I get this job, like, I'm not just going to like stop. Like I always need a goal. I always need something that I am working towards.
Yeah.
So once I started that job, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to become a board certified behavior analyst and work with autistic children. And I did until until I got pregnant. And then the pandemic hit like right around the same time. And I was like, well, I'm going to stay home with my kids.
Oh yeah. We have pandemic babies.
Both of us do. Yeah. Yeah. And so, stay home with my kids. But I also knew I couldn't go back into that field because I wouldn't be able to it's very emotionally taxing.
Yeah. And how do you leave that at the door?
Well, yeah. And how do I give my clients fully and then come home and give my kids fully, like me? And I just knew that the way that system is set up that I wouldn't be able to. And luckily, our family dynamic was such that I was able to stay home with the kids when they were little, and also allowed me to build a career slowly when I found my pivot. Yeah. And for me, my pivot was real estate because, believe it or not, I use a lot of those random skills from getting my, from counseling psychology to analyzing data, I'm able to use all of it with my clients.
It makes sense that you made that connection, but how did you make that connection? Because I feel like when you and I have spoken, I understand fully how your background completely relates to how you can benefit your clients now. But how did you make that decision to go into real estate?
I think that I found
She found the instrument.
Yeah, she did. A little background noise for us. I don't know. It was probably like when people like, yeah, of course I watched HGTV in the 2010s. Like, you know,
We all did.
all of us did. And so it's always, I think everyone thinks about like, oh, what would it be like to be an agent? And then during the pandemic, I found a Groupon for the classes to become an agent. And I was like, okay.
Go back to Groupon, by the way. I haven't been on Groupon in years.
So I used Groupon for my classes. And I felt very antsy of like, I want to try this and see where it leads. So I don't have a good answer for you. I think that I've curated an answer of like how it all connects.
No, but this is real.
But then, I mean, to tie this all together, long story long, is I think my point that I want to make is that even for people who don't really know what they want to do and what direction life is going to take them, that everything that you do, even if it doesn't have the same end goal in mind, will bolster and help you be better at whatever you do next.
Yeah,
so,
I completely agree.
Because I think that for a while, I felt kind of stupid for getting my master's in counseling psychology. And then like now I'm in a completely different field. And I feel I have come to grips. I have come to like the realization that it's okay and that like it builds on itself. But I think that there were many years there where I just felt stupid, for lack of a better word, for like the constant pivoting that apparently started when I was like 7 years old in the church parking lot.
No, I love that. And I think it's very honest to say you did not mean to end up in real estate, but you found love in it and you like what you do.
Yeah.
And understanding now that it all connects to each other is true. But yeah, I mean, kind of same here. I didn't plan on being a loan officer.
Yeah, tell me more about. Now that I've spent 10 minutes saving my past, let's hear yours.
Well, I guess I would say that I have a strong passion for social justice.
Okay,
I do. I have a lot of empathy for others, almost in a debilitating amount. And it really started in like even elementary school. There was a girl who was at my school who wore a headscarf, and there were little boys who were bullying her, and I went over there and shoved them and like had her back. And this was back in 2002, if you guys remember what happened pretty soon before that.
Yeah.
And so I realized I love helping people.
Yeah.
I just want to help people. I just want to help people. I don't care how I do it. I just knew I wanted to help people. And so I changed my mind a ton of times. I said I wanted to be an actress. I said I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. I said I wanted to be a lawyer. I said I wanted to do all these different things. And then I got involved in youth city council when I was in middle school, high school. Because what else do you do in middle school, high school other than join your youth city council? So shout out to Riverbank. Love you guys. I will always have love for Riverbank. That's my hometown, not to triangulate where I'm from, but totally did. And going from that into student government and then into student government in college, I was the vice president of finance. And I found out that money ruled the world. Whether you liked it or not, we lived in a capitalistic society and money ran everything.
Yep.
And so in order to accomplish anything, even if it's good for others, you needed capital.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got involved and I managed a $3.2 million budget at...
Wait, how old were you? Wait, when
I
was
was 19 years old.
Holy cow.
I was 19 years old running a $3.2 million budget as vice president of finance for my student association.
Wow.
And again, I realized that capital meant something. And so I was going to school for political science, but then I wanted to minor in statistics. And then I thought about going to socioeconomics. And at that time, I was on the water polo team for my school, on the swim team, in student government, working at Metro PCS, working on the school campus for their TRIO program. And I was doing all these things. And I was getting really burnt out. because I was having to pay for my schooling on my own. I didn't have parents paying for my schooling. At that time, California didn't offer free 2 years college. And so everything was coming out of my pocket. I didn't have student loans because I was scared of student loans. I didn't have anyone to co-sign for me. Yeah. And so I'm paying for everything. And I'm getting really burnt out. And I'm on LinkedIn looking for a better paying job while going to school. And I got a job offer in Sacramento. I was kind of sick of living in my hometown. I felt like I needed some change. So I moved up here. I transferred with Metro PCS. Got robbed at Metro PCS up here twice. And then I got the position at the mortgage company up here. And they interviewed me and they told me they would pay for my licensing and all this stuff. So I wasn't going into being a loan officer with the expectation of this is what I've dreamed about. But I did go into it with the understanding of I can help others and I can make some money to keep myself financially stable. And I passed all my tests. I got licensed in 5 different states. And I was working 12, 13-hour days, and I hated life. Yeah. But I hated life because the company I was working for did not take being a fiduciary to heart. When you decide to work in mortgage, you sign up to be a fiduciary. And what a fiduciary is someone who puts the benefit of their client before themselves. I took that to heart. Again, I have a high sense of social justice. So when you tell me I am something or I have to do something, I'm going to do it. And so working for that company, they did not have that same thought process that I did. There was a person sitting next to me who was lying. They would get they would buy leads, which I don't do that. I'm very adamantly, all my leads are self-generated or from my clients or from referrals or things like that. And so this company, they bought leads. So when you go to get your credit pooled, or you go on any of those like different like websites that'll let you run potential numbers, they're gathering your information, right? Okay. So they're gathering your name, your phone number, and your email, and potentially what you're looking for. And then they sell that information to people. Yeah. And so this company I worked for would buy that information, and then they would have a room full of people just dialing for dollars. That's what it's called. And so they would just call and call and call. And once they got someone on the phone, if they kept them on the phone for 30 seconds, they could transfer them to a loan officer.
Why 30 seconds?
What was that? Was just their rule to get paid. You had to keep someone on the phone for 30 seconds to transfer them to an actual loan officer.
Okay.
So then in this room, the sea of men, and when I say sea of men, I'm being quite literal because there were 3 women at this company. I was one of them, and I was the youngest by like 4 years in the entire company. I was young. I was 21. Yeah. Okay. And so I dropped out of college. I'm doing this now. And so I'm there. The phones are ringing. Everyone's trying to grab it as fast as they can. And this guy next to me is lying to people and saying, oh, well, I have your credit report right here in front of me. He did not have their credit report in front of them. And he's like saying all this information to people, or, oh, there's a discrepancy on your credit report. Please call me back. And he's not looking at their credit report. And I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell am I doing? Yeah. This is not what I want to do. This is not who I am. Yeah. And I wrote my resignation letter and I went to go turn it in. And the manager said, we're not going to accept this. Take the rest of the week off and then we can talk. And I went with my then roommate to Saratoga and I was hiking and I ended up tripping and breaking my ankle. And my roommate had to carry me up the hill back to the car. And I couldn't drive. And I'm up here in Sacramento. No one can drive me to work. And at that time, Uber was uber expensive. Yeah. It was like brand new. Like Uber was just a thing, like barely a thing at that time. Okay. And I was like, I can't pay to get to work. And so I called them and I was like, hey, I can work from home. This is before remote working was a thing. And I was like, I can work from home, but I can't work in the office. And they're like, you have to work in the office. And I said, well, I guess I'm quitting.
Which I wanted to do anyways. Okay.
So I quit and I became an office manager of a chiropractic office here in Sacramento. And it was a good time. You know, I liked what I was doing. I was talking to people, but it didn't feel fulfilling. Right. And I had met my then boyfriend. We'd moved in together. We're working things out. You know, things are getting more serious. COVID happened. Well, before COVID, we got married. And so 2019, end of 2019, got married. And I said, well, if we're getting married, we're entering this next stage of life, I think I'm going to go back into mortgage. And we bought in our house in 2017.
So you were still at the chiropractor office at this point?
Yeah, I was still at the chiropractic office. And that's when we bought our first house. We bought a condo.
Okay.
And during the process, the loan officer was kind of a jerk. And, well, I should back up and say, first we tried purchasing with a program. I'm not going to say the name. I do want to say the name. I'm not going to say the name.
But why aren't you going to say that?
I think that maybe if we go do this a little bit longer, maybe I'll feel comfortable. But like, it's a big organization that still runs.
Okay.
And so there's a program, a national program that is made for people to help them buy their first home.
Okay.
And they have this whole thing you have to go through. You have to go through 6 months of like saving money. They like are going to give you money to go towards your down payment. It's this whole thing. Okay. And
it's not a government program. It's a company.
It's a company.
Okay.
But so I go through this whole program.
Okay.
And we go through it. We save up all this money. We're saving money like crazy.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, we find a house, and no one wants to accept an offer from this company because they know the loans are bad.
Okay.
But I didn't know that.
Okay.
And so we put in 25 offers. At this time in 2017, that market was very different than now's market.
Yeah.
So back then, people were putting offers $40,000 to $50,000 over asking prices. And so that's what we're doing. I was putting offers $40,000 to $50,000 over asking. I was trying my best to get into a house. No one's accepting our offers. Finally, a condo that was sitting on the market for a while, we got our offer accepted. And we ended up not being able to close with that program, and we switched to a mortgage broker. And that mortgage broker was a total jerk. Even though we had 15% down, he was still a total jerk and constantly making it abundantly clear to me that our price point was lower than his usual loan amount is.
Oh, good Lord.
And I was just like upset. I'm like, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what loan officers are like. And so that was 2017. So 2019, we're getting married. And I was like, you know what? We're getting married at the beginning of the year. I'm going to start a new leaf. I think I'm going to go back into mortgage. And my new husband was like, okay, I guess you're doing that. He was very, very trepidatious of me quitting my job that I've had for a few years and going into mortgage because his concern was, what if this doesn't work out? Yeah, and I get it. I totally get it. Sure. But I believed in myself. I have a lot of belief in myself. When I put my mind to something, I feel like I can do it.
Well, I was just going to say, you are someone who like, I don't know if I know someone. People call me tenacious. My candle doesn't even shine a light next to your tenacity. Like, you are the most tenacious person I
Thank you.
know.
I'll give you $20 later for saying that. So I quit my job and I'm looking for mortgage positions. But guess what? In January of 2020, I got married. I go on my honeymoon. I come back from my honeymoon. And the world is shut down.
Amazing.
But I had already told people that I'm quitting my job in March.
God.
Okay? I had already said my last day working is March 20th. If you don't remember.
Wait, March 20th?
Yes. Yes.
I do remember. I knew where you're going with this.
So I had already said I'm quitting March 20th. And then
that date is scarred in everyone's mind.
Called COVID happens. And I'm like, I had already told everyone that I'm quitting my job.
Oh
I can't not quit my job. So I quit my job.
Wow, I guess at the time we didn't know that.
We didn't know
how.
We were very naive.
We were so naive.
And so I quit my job. And I was like, what am I doing? And I'm not getting hired by any mortgage companies because at that time in real estate, people are scared to show their homes. People are scared to do mortgages. Everything was stopping for a brief moment. And so I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so I'm soul searching. I get hired by a mortgage company. I hate that mortgage company. I'm like, nope, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do something that I can stand on.
Yeah.
And I find another place. I don't like it. And then finally, I find Hawkins Home Loans. It's a women-owned mortgage brokerage based locally. And the broker owner, Lori Hawkins, shout out Lori.
Hey, Lori, we love you.
We love you. She is super knowledgeable. And she's tenacious. And I just was like, this is what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's someone that actually cares about their clients. She has the knowledge to back it up. And I'm still green. I'm still new. And so I paid my dues. I started as a partner for her, and I was helping with her clients, and I was reviewing documents, and I was getting used to files. And at that time, we were booming. It was crazy. You know, after the whole shutdown, people realized, okay, people need to buy homes. Interest rates are super low. At that time, interest rates 2s. And so we're refinancing, we're purchasing like crazy.
I mean, obviously you can't imagine you were through the 2s.
Yeah.
But
we're like working like crazy. And I'm getting so much front row seat knowledge from someone who's doing an amazing amount of business. And so I'm getting to touch all of these files, and I'm getting to learn. And a few days after being hired by Lori, I found out that I was pregnant.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever like sat down and heard like line by line your life. And it's like back to back to back.
It's so much. And so I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, oh, wow. Am I having a kid? And so, I was like, okay, I'm having a kid. And so, I'm like, okay, I've got to figure this out. And so I'm working like crazy because I want to be able to provide for this child, you know, as someone who's had a stay-at-home parent, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. I really wanted to have that for my child. And I was like, I need to try and make as much money as I can so that when this child's born, I can kind of like sit back and like, you know, just coast and just mostly just focus on my kid. I was working really hard. Lori moved me up into a management position. I had my kid, and honestly and truthfully, I'm a little crazy, and I will admit to that there are still things that I need to learn. But like, for instance, I gave birth at midnight. At 9:30 in the morning the next day, I'm calling a real estate agent to let them know that a purchase funded. My then husband took my phone away, and he's like, "No, you do not need to work right now. You need to focus on your family." As he should have. That's as he should have. And so I take a step back, and when you take a step back in mortgage, real estate agents find other lenders, right? And so which happens because they have to move on. They have their own business,
right?
And so I had to then rebuild again, but I'm rebuilding in the end of 2021. And I'm like, okay, I'm rebuilding. Well, in 2022, that's when interest rates increased to 8% by July 2022. And I was like, I'm not stopping. I can't stop. I have a child to pay for.
Yeah.
And so what I decided was I really like what I do. I don't want to be someone who just helps the rich get richer. I want to help the families build generational wealth. Yeah. I want to help the retired person, get them in a position where they're not going to wonder if they're going to have enough to cover the next month. Like, I want to be that person who's helping those people. And so that's what I built my business on. I got involved in the community, and I made people know that, you know, first and foremost, I'm there as a community member. Second, I'm here to help you as well. And so that's kind of what I built my mortgage company and my mortgage business on, is being an active community member. And yeah, I think that's the long story long of how I got into mortgage.
So both of us really kind of fell into this, if you will. For me, when I was thinking real estate, like one of the reasons I picked that, even though it was like mostly just like HGTV and Groupon, is in my head, I was trying to think of a career where I could be the primary parent, because my husband is very like, his line of thinking is very, it's hard for him to deviate from how like his brain like takes information in. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say, but I knew that I had to be the flexible parent. Like, I would have to be the one that would need that, like if the kids were sick, I'd be the one to go pick up, that I needed something that I could work flexible hours or whatever. Was that ever any consideration for you when you were like thinking, like, were you thinking ahead to like building? Because even though you started loan again before you got pregnant, like you were probably looking ahead, right?
Yeah, I was looking ahead. I mean, we were planning on having a child after we had gotten married. Mm-hmm. That was our plan, is to get pregnant right after. It took us a while, but we got there at one point. And I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, like I said. For me personally, I think that having a child is the biggest decision you will ever make in your entire life, bar none. And it's a decision that you have to make with a heavy heart. And I decided that if I was going to be a parent, I was going to be an active, involved parent. And I'm not saying, an active and involved looks different for everyone, but for me,
Right.
like I said, having a mom who was a stay-at-home mom, I think was a huge benefit to me. I know she might have some feelings about taking that time off of her life to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally get that. But I knew for me, I wanted to be that stay-at-home parent for my child. I wanted to be able to attend everything. I wanted to not miss a single T-ball game. I wanted to be active, involved in the school. I wanted to attend everything. And I didn't want my child to feel like they were going to miss out. And my then husband, it was like a few days before I gave birth, told me that he kind of saw himself as a secondary parent, just stepping in when I couldn't do things. And
before you gave birth?
Yeah, it was like days before I gave birth. That was awesome. It was a real
awesome.
shock. And so then I realized, okay, whether I am married or not married, I am going to be the primary parent.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the parent.
Yeah.
And so going into mortgage was something I knew I needed to make work, because whether it was this or something else, I needed a job that would let me literally be available at any time for this child. And mortgage really allows me to do that. Mortgage allows me to go and be that crossing guard in the rain on Thursday mornings. It allows me to attend the CAC meetings or the California or the advisory committee for the campus. It allows me to be involved on that level. And I don't have to ask someone if I can take time off, right?
That's the big thing.
Like, I don't,
because that's like when I talk about my husband being kind of stubborn, I think that's it. Is like for him, like he has to be in the office at this time. He needs to leave at this time. And it's mental gymnastics for him to think about like taking time off for things. So I knew I had to be like
but like
easy.
Personally, if you send me loan documents, I put him to bed at 8. At 9 o'clock, I can be in my bed with my heated blanket over me, reviewing your taxes.
Yeah.
And I don't have anyone telling me, oh, well, you had to clock in during this time to do those things.
Right.
Like, I'm doing it during my time and I'm making sure it gets done.
Yeah.
And
which is not easy. I think we'll talk about that during this podcast. That is not easy. Like, I had to have a conversation with my son about, because he was asking why I'm always on my phone.
Yeah.
And
oh, the mom guilt with that.
I know. Well, we'll talk about that in another episode, but like, it's not easy, even though it is a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely a double-edged sword. I feel like, yes, I'm making it sound like it's all rainbows and butterflies with being self-employed, but also, if I don't make money, these lights aren't turning on.
Yeah.
I don't have another income to fall on.
Yeah.
This is me. So this mortgage, these lights, everything, it's on me to make sure it happens and gets paid for. And so that's a huge thing. And then on top of it, I am always working. There is no time off. When we go on vacations, I have my phone on me. Usually, if we're doing something, I'm working before and I'm working after. If we're eating a meal, I'm probably on my phone or answering emails or reviewing a document from my phone, which is a huge blessing that nowadays I can review documents from my phone. But like, still, I'm always working.
Right.
And so, yeah, there is no time off. Now, is there flexibility? Absolutely. Yeah. But there is no time off. Right. But then we met.
Oh, I know. We got to talk about our meet cute. It's funny because, well, I guess maybe you should go first.
No, I want to hear your version.
Okay. Okay. When I started real estate, let's see, I got licensed. I was 9 months pregnant with that thing, making noise up there. So over 4 years ago. And it was a very slow burn for me. It was taking I knew it was going to take a couple of years for me to really get into.
I love that you consider it a slow burn, because I still consider that you have so much experience under your belt for such a short period of time.
Well, thank you.
So
I'll give you that $20 back.
I love that you think it's a slow burn, because I think that in a matter of 4 years, you've built an amazing brand.
Thank you. But I think it must have been 2022 that we met.
Yes.
I think that's the right year. And we met by you sliding into my DM.
That is exactly it.
I think I was trying to I was trying to brand myself on Instagram as like this realtor mom. Like I think my handle might have actually been like Realtor Mom Sacramento or something like that. And you just started like sliding in my DMs, like saying like, oh yeah, I'm a mom too, and like this or that. And then I think I might have posted something like from our neighborhood, and you were like, oh my God, we live in the same neighborhood.
That's exactly it.
And that was like, okay, we got to get these kids on a play date, and we scheduled a play date, and it was like, okay, we're kind of like Instagram friends. We work the same industry. And then I started to get buyers, and I didn't really have like a solid loan officer. You know, all the brokerages will say like, here's the loan officers that we recommend, and these are the ones that we like. But I didn't have anyone I was using yet. I was still like pretty new. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this chick a chance with some of my first buyer clients. And I think you took my first 2 or 3 buyer clients. And I was like, let's just see how she does. Let's just, you know, I think that she's a pretty cool cat, and let's see how she is on the loan front. And the way that you blew everyone out of the water, like you are truly like, you're on top of everything. We joke about hot potato, right? Like how it's hot potato. Anytime something lands in your inbox, it's like, how quickly can I get it out of my inbox and make it someone else's problem? And, you know, not that that's like great for your mental health, but as a loan officer and as a real estate partner, like, is amazing. Can I say that? Can I say that it's amazing? I don't know. I don't want to like encourage you to do things that are bad for your mental health.
Yes, encourage my mental diagnoses.
But you're just like, you just blew it out of the water. Anytime we hit a roadblock, you would call me with 3 or 4 different options of getting through the roadblock.
That is something I'm very big on. I've been big on that since day one of, if you have an issue, come with solutions.
Yeah.
Because if you go with just issues, no one wants to talk to you.
No, you always have like, here are the 3 things that we can do. How do you want to handle it? Because, you know, obviously it's a partnership. And you get my clients to the closing table, and I was like, okay, this girl is like incredible. Like, I definitely want to work with her. I love that we're 2 moms. Yeah. I love that we live in the same area, like all of these things.
And now our kids go to the same school.
School.
And so going to the same school, now we can kind of like co-parent together.
I know.
And so, you know, on days that I have to go into the office, you can pick my kid up from school and he can hang out at your house for a few hours. I mean, that is so crucial to have, not only in our industry, but as parents.
Well, and then even if it's not a day that I'm picking him up from school, sometimes you'll drop him off and then you'll just come to my house.
Yeah.
And we'll co-work together. Yes. Parallel work. We'll parallel work together.
For me, really nice. I realize that in our industry, so, you know, I follow a bunch of different people, especially when it comes to like giving advice on like how to be a loan officer, how to market, how to do this. And everyone's like, oh, essentially saying you have to kiss ass. Mm-hmm. I'm not an ass kisser.
No.
Like, I'm a really nice person. I love being friendly. I have a dopey little smile on my face.
You are so flippin' extroverted too. Like, you are, what did I call you? My service puppy? Emotional support animal. You're not like, I don't know. I called you so. You're like my little service puppy that I take with me because
I wear that as a badge of honor. And so, but everyone was saying, you gotta kiss ass, you gotta do this, like, oh, you have to like pretend to be friends. But I don't want to pretend to be friends. Oh. I hate surface level friendships. My friends will all tell you I'm the person that's asking the questions that no one wants to answer. Yeah. Because I want to be real. I want us to get to the raw realness. I don't want to like stay at the, oh, how are you? Good. Oh, that's great. I don't want to stay there. Yeah. I want to be real.
Yeah.
I want to know what made you cry last week. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And so I realized that when it came to building realtor partners, I wanted to work with people I really liked.
Yeah.
And so I was following your Instagram and I was like, I like what she's posting. I like who she is as a person. I want to work with her. And so there's like a little button in your brain that tells you to be shy or be nervous. And somehow it doesn't click in my brain.
Okay.
Even when it should. Like I'll be at the party until you tell me it's time for you to leave. Like, I don't get like the note of you going, oh, like, yeah, it goes right over my head, which again might be with me having neurodivergence. But so I was like, yeah, I like her. we have this pseudo friendship already because I follow her Instagram. Obviously, we're best friends already. I'm going to reach out to her. And so I reached out to you, and yeah, we had a play date at the park, and our kids vibed, and we vibed, and we're just like talking shit about our industry too. And like, it was great.
It was great.
And when you referred a client over to me, it made me feel over the moon. And since then, every single client you referred to me has made me feel so honored. And so I mean, this might sound crazy, but like, we started as realtor partners, but I feel like our friendship means more to me now.
Oh, for sure.
And just having someone, a confidant in our industry that I can lean on and be like, have you experienced something like this? Or have you worked with this person before? Or, this is what happened to me. Isn't this crazy? Like, having that is so vital. And I mean, sure, I talk to my therapist once a week. She's great. Shout out Robin. But she doesn't understand real estate. She doesn't understand our industry. And so talking to a friend, a real friend that understands what I'm going through, it's crucial to keep my mental health at bay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If you don't have someone like this, maybe we can be it for you. You can listen to our shit show and you can feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah.
So
that was the whole point of like creating this talking about why did we make this podcast? I think it was because we have these conversations, right? And they all have like this, a little bit of an undertone of real estate. Like it definitely weaves its way through our conversations because it's the lens that we see life through. Yeah. But it always is about more. Often parenting is a huge thing that we talk about, and life, and we certainly enjoy our conversations. And, I like you, what did you say? Like, maybe it's a little vain or whatever, but like, I hope that others just get entertained by like, or feel welcome or feel like they're not alone. Like, I think that's the hope, is that like, to build this community. We have such like this really cool thing going. Yeah. And I envision seeing a community that grows and people who, feel like they're a part of something bigger and they're not alone.
Yeah. And I know this was kind of a chaotic first episode, but I just want you to know, like, as she stated, we are going to like underline talk about real estate in this, but really we're talking about what it's like to survive in this world as self-employed moms who are just trying to literally do it all. Yeah. So you are seen, you are heard.
And we'd love to have you in our community if that's,
Yeah. So, I mean, truly, like I did, don't be afraid to hop in our DMs. We will really talk to you. Yeah. There's no AI chatbot who's going to be responding. It's going to be us. Yeah. Probably in between cereal being stuck in between our toes or teeth not brushed yet. So
yes. So 2 things.
Yes.
I want to, I know we're kind of wrapping up, takeaways. Yeah. And we kind of talked about this, but I think that I wanted to get across 2 things that I wanted to get across this episode. It's that the importance of community, and not just doing it by yourself, and also that it's totally okay to pivot, and that you are, I don't know if it's like you're bigger than your pivot, or like a pivot doesn't define you, or however you want to say that. Like, those are kind of the 2 things that I wanted to mention.
I completely agree. I think another piece that I would love to say is that for me, it's do what you like. This life is so short to be doing something that makes you have a heartburn every day, And so, sure, do I complain about our industry sometimes? Absolutely. But I complain with it with love. I mean, I complain about everything. Yeah. But like, I truly enjoy what I do. I was at the doctor's office and they were asking me what I do. And she's like, wow, you're smiling. She's like, you enjoy what you do. And I realized, oh my gosh, I am smiling. I do enjoy what I do.
And then you got her as a client because you're an extrovert and you just somehow like collect clients everywhere you go. I don't know. That's the part she left out. Okay. Continue.
But seriously, I enjoy what I do. And so, I mean, did I think I was going to be a loan officer? No. Did I think I was going to love being in finance? No. But I do enjoy what I do. I get to help real people every single day make sure that they can make things work for themselves. And so that's what I enjoy about our industry. And I enjoy that we have our community. And I enjoy the fact that we both pivoted and found our way here. So
I love that.
Me too.
We're more alike than different, even more so than we thought before we started this episode today.
So that's our first episode of Realty Check.
If you are in a season of change or trying to find your people, remember that it's okay to pivot. It's okay to start fresh, and it's always better when you've got community around you.
That's exactly why we're here, to remind you that you're not alone in figuring all this out.
Okay, next week we're going to talk about how to juggle all of it. Scheduling life as a primary parent, kid tag-alongs, and the messy beauty of blending family and business.
Spoiler alert, it's not perfect, but it is possible.
Make sure you follow or subscribe wherever you listen so you don't miss what's next.
And if you like today's episode, share it with a friend or a teammate or anyone who could use a little bit of a realty check of their own.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.